Khalid has been in touch saying, travel without misses, logistically easier. Whew, you're a brave man, Khalid. I hope she's not listening. Someone else anonymously saying, I want to watch the sardine run in Cape Town, South Africa. That's a great resolution. Someone else, Rashid, saying, my resolution is to photograph and make films in some of the most interesting places in the world. Oh, that would be fantastic. Completely agree with you. And Seville saying, a 1-month horse riding trip in Mongolia. Nothing but our horses and backpacks straight through the wilderness. Such great ideas, guys. This has given me a lot to put on my bucket list myself. Do please keep them coming in to 4001. I will be selecting a winner before the end of the show. But now it is time for a look at what's in store for the tourism and hospitality industry this new year, as our reporter Philip Wellman investigates how 2014's looking for the sector.
Another year, another step closer to the Vision 2020 target set by Dubai's government to attract 20 million visitors a year to the Emirate by 2020. And that's just Dubai. Abu Dhabi is also targeting huge hospitality and tourism growth as well, with a raft of new properties and attractions planned in the next few years. And the Emirates have a strong base to build on looking forward, thanks to an extremely positive 2013, as Louise Oakley, Group Hospitality Editor for ITP Business, explains.
I think it's fair to say that the industry's performed very well over the past 12 months, really coming on leaps and bounds in terms of the new properties that launched in the UAE, and also obviously then topped off by winning the Dubai Expo 2020 bid and the announcements that have since followed about the projected growth in Dubai itself of at least doubling the portfolio of rooms, and a similar growth expected in Abu Dhabi also.
Christopher Hewett, a senior consultant with TRI Hospitality Consulting, agrees the signs are good for the UAE.
There's been a substantial increase in performance across all sectors, particularly hospitality and tourism, with hotels recording increased demand, airlines recording increased passenger numbers, and airports experiencing an increase in overall visitors. So it's been a great year. It's sort of been a year of growth and expansion, and things are looking very promising.
But that doesn't mean the Emirate should rest on its laurels. According to Hewett, there'll be some changes as we get into the new year.
In general, it is going to be positive for 2014. However, we think there'll be a few intrinsic changes in certain markets. Looking at Dubai, we think that there's going to be an increase in supply of hotels, so it might put a bit of a damper on occupancy growth. However, we think occupancy will remain somewhat stable at 2013 levels. With Abu Dhabi, we think the hotel market is entering to a point of stabilization, especially when it comes to the average rates. The average rates have decreased in 2013 as a result of higher competition and new hotels coming into the market. However, as demand has picked up with new visitors and new passengers coming into the market, we believe that the higher demand is going to help balance out the falls in average rates, and the average rates will start to bottom out and stabilize at current levels. Obviously, Dubai is still reeling from the celebrations of winning the right to host the Expo 2020, and I think you'll start seeing a lot more activity coming out around the particular Expo site. Denmark have already launched a new service department project close to Maktoum International Airport and the Expo site. So I think you'll start seeing a lot more announcements and projects coming up. Generally, I think there'll probably be more in the mid-market segment, as DTCM has provided almost a levy relief for 4-star and mid-market hotels in the coming years as they get developed by not having to pay the municipality fees. We think that's going to be a good incentive, and it's going to help build up that mid-market segment.
Despite this prediction, though, and the backing of Dubai's Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing, the anticipated mid-market pickup is not yet making its presence felt in the national pipeline, as ITP's Oakley points out.
Still, that is the smaller part of the pipeline. The latest stats we actually got from the DTCM was that there are 8,500 more rooms due to be added by the end of 2015, and that equates to 33 more hotel establishments. Some of those are mid-market. We're expecting new brands such as the Hewett Place Hotel to come in, but a lot of them are still in the luxury segment, with hotels such as the Waldorf Astoria on the Palm, which has just opened, the second tower of the JW Marriott Marquis, for example, due to come online this year.
With any new year comes new forecasts and trends, and hoteliers across the UAE will be keeping their fingers on the pulse, keen to be on top of whatever the big features are in 2014. Oakley believes the technical and digital world will come to the fore still further over the next 12 months.
I think that the biggest trends for the actual hotel operators is going to be the continued focus on maximising technology and the digital space. There's now so many hotels here that in order to actually get the guests here, they've got to have an online presence, they've got to have good booking engines, these have got to now transfer to mobile. It's even got to go as far as bookings via social media, according to some of the hoteliers we're speaking to.
But in the midst of all this positive change and development, the hospitality and tourism industry will face some challenges as well. Here's TRI Consulting's Hewett again.
Well, I think the challenge will just be to try and, for individual hotels to obviously keep their performance levels up, both in the way of occupancy and rate. And generally it's also to do with service levels and maintaining quality of service with very high levels of demand. And on top of that, coming up with new and unique and innovative ways to try and exceed expectations of guests, especially ones that come back to Dubai on a regular basis and have become accustomed to the high levels of service that are provided here in Emirates.
ITP's Oakley agrees hotels are going to have to stay on the ball and be extremely competitive to drive footfall still further.
I think the trickiest thing will be, considering the growth expected, is to maintain the standards that Dubai and Abu Dhabi have become so well known for. With so many more hotels, that's going to be thousands more staff needed. So I think the big challenge is where these people come from and how they get trained up, and whether they can actually deliver the service that matches the luxurious buildings that are coming up here.
Looking to the wider region, Hewett believes it's set to remain a mixed bag in 2014.
Unfortunately, the Middle East region is still reeling from relative unrest. Egypt continues to face challenges of civil unrest, especially in Cairo, which is starting to have an impact on the performance of other markets in the country, namely Sharm el-Sheikh, and unfortunately a number of travel warnings have deterred visitors there in the last number of months. So unfortunately, we think that's going to probably continue as the country gets used to democracy and tries to get back on its feet after the unrest that they've experienced in the last couple of years. Unfortunately, the ongoing issues within Syria are impacting Lebanon, and they've faced a number of challenges in recent months. And I think that's really going to continue. So all of these unrest in traditional markets are actually probably going to benefit Dubai and Abu Dhabi, as well as Doha, as regional travellers look for more safe, secure and favourable destinations.
But there are certain Middle East destinations that are coming up fast behind the UAE, generating a lot of buzz as they focus on building their own tourism and hospitality credentials.
I think the focus, other than the UAE, is definitely on Saudi Arabia and Qatar. It's surprising, actually, when you look at the hotels planned for Qatar. There's some really interesting boutique brands going in there, like the Morgan's Hotel Group, which is really famous for its hotels in London and New York, is actually going to be debuting there this year. Saudi Arabia, there's huge deals signed for more mid-market brands and more service department and long-stay brands. I think that's where there's still a lot of potential. With so much development, there's a lot of people coming in that need long-term contracts for places to stay, and that's where kind of the hotel apartment market can really capitalise.
And how about the wider world? Well, the East in particular will have a strong role to play in driving the global tourism industry, with China flagged as the biggest spender around the globe. As Hewett notes, the UAE will be keen to secure itself a large slice of that visitor pie this year.
I think you'll probably start getting more growth coming from China. We see that they've now entered the top 10 source markets for Dubai, looking at the first 9 months of the year, and I think that's going to continue as the Chinese market develops and a lot more tourism marketing and awareness is funneled into that country, which is going to obviously bring a lot more revenues and spend into the various retail, hospitality and real estate markets.
This is Philip Wellman for The Travel Show.
Great report there from Philip Wellman on forecasts for the hospitality and tourism industry in the year ahead. Some lovely ones coming in. Ashraf's resolution is to travel less unless very necessary. Travel for business, or at least to travel to less popular areas. That's an interesting one. Thanks, Ashraf. Ketki says, I resolve never to leave my purse on a train. Sounds like there might be a story behind that, but a good resolution, certainly. Other ones coming in. Travel, to simply travel more. Travelled out of Dubai once last year and that was not enough. That's from Claire. That's a very good call, Claire. We could all afford to do a little bit more travelling, perhaps more mini breaks around the region. That's definitely going to be one of my resolutions. Now we're going to be coming back after the break and hopefully talking to Mr. Mark Lloyd, who is currently in Malaysia. So we'll be finding out what he's been up to over the past couple of days. Do keep it on The Travel Show.